Okay, so I think that we're live, and welcome everyone to. I think it's the eighth session of Prep Your Firm webinar
Hey.
series, where we, as some of you already joined the previous ones, we put the emphasis on the topics, the tools, the knowledge, the resources, anything that can help you get a better start to 2026 and not just to stumble into the new year.
Yep.
Let me know over on the chat that you can hear us, and everything runs smoothly. You can see Noah, you can see Christian, you can see me, and you can hear. I see that Bernadette already said hi from Thousand Oaks, and she says that she can hear us. If others can also just verify that. Meanwhile, quick, just making sure that we have everything straightforward. This session will be recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube for anyone to watch. We heard from people in past sessions that they felt that they were very valuable, and we want to share that
Hmm.
with others, and we want to do the same. So it's going to be available and accessible for anyone to watch on YouTube. Like I said, there
Hmm.
is a chat on the right side, and you can feel free to ask any questions, and we'll save them towards the end where
Yep.
Noah and Christian will be able to address them. So today, like I said, we have Noah, we have Christian, also known as TaxProMarketeers,
Yeah.
TaxProMarketeers, sorry. And beside being amazing people and beside actually being an Anchor customer, the interesting thing is
Yes.
that they are a full service marketing agency that is specialized for the accounting, bookkeeping, and tax industry. They work with hundreds. I hope that I'm not
Yes.
underestimate.
Yes.
And they're going to talk with us about some of the most interesting, but also one of the most difficult thing for people who are not marketeers, and to talk about digital marketing tactics for 2026. So the stage is yours, and I will be in the background.
Okay. Elad, thank you. It's always good to see your face. Thanks for hosting us. To you and your whole team, Anchor, we love you guys. And as Elad mentioned, we are clients of Anchor. So we use Anchor ourselves. We love the platform, love the team. We've been at events with them and shared meals with them. And I feel like I've gotten to know them quite well. So it's an honor to be here with you guys as well, which I'm assuming are many Anchor users in the tax and accounting space. Although if you're in this space and other industries as well, I think what we're going to talk about today does apply kind of universally in terms of digital marketing best practices. There's a lot more than 5 tactics that we could talk about. Sometimes we talk about 7. If we were to probably have a few hours, Noah, I don't know, the list could be, a dozen really kind of core, effective, basic marketing things that you should pursue. But the 5 most essential as we approach the new year and you're thinking about marketing in your accounting, tax firm, bookkeeping firm, and just being kind of in a position to grow. I think these are the 5 that we believe are the most important. So, for those that are here, if you wouldn't mind, as we're getting started, we'll have the chat pulled up. And as Alad mentioned, how about we come back to some of these questions either throughout the meeting or at the end? We'll try and make some space. But I'm just curious because I don't think we have poll questions today, which would happen normally on like a CPE webinar setting. But I think Noah and I will either ask you to engage in the chat or just give us an answer. What are you guys looking to adjust, tweak, fix, improve on related to your digital marketing in the new year? Just give me an idea. Is it more leads? Is it that you need your marketing to get refreshed because your website's outdated? Is it emails that you don't get sent out to clients that you'd like help writing? Leads. I see leads. That's one good answer. Anyone else who wants to share? And if, we'll just come back to this, Noah, maybe you can pop in the chat and respond to people, but let us know what you're looking for. I think that if you're here to either get an online marketing refresh, to generate more leads, just to get help, you're in the right place. And we'll get into, I think, 5 really good, smart, effective tactics. 1 hour is not enough time to kind of maybe give you actionable, like, you're going to leave with the plan and just push go tomorrow. I think we're going to open up or like uncover under some rocks some areas you might not know how important they are. and open up a conversation. So like that's my big goal for today. And kind of my ask at the end is to keep the conversation going with any or all of you that want to keep connecting. So engage with us while we're here. You've got us for the next hour. Anything that comes up, we're here in the chat, but please, please grab a call with us. We'll give you the link towards the end. So a little bit more about what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about local search, and specifically on Google, talk about your website and making it into a client converting asset and tool, email marketing, a follow-up system, and advertising as well. So again, what you don't see on this list is social media. Highly relevant, great thing to consider. We're not going to talk about social media today. What you don't see is like texting campaigns, texting initiatives. Also great, something you should consider. Just not for today. So these are 5 really core important things. And you can see our little link up in the top right, talktotpm.com. Noah, would you mind dropping that link in the chat? I'm going to encourage you guys a few times, throughout this presentation. If you want to keep this conversation going, if you want us to give you a free analysis, if you want us to talk shop on any of the stuff we're covering today or social media stuff we're not, that's your next step. Talk to tpm.com. Let's have a discovery call and talk with your situation specifically. But who are we? Why should you kind of give us your next hour of time and not be looking at YouTube or Facebook in the background? Why is this worth locking into for the next hour? A little bit more about me, hopefully to give you some of my credentials. So I've been here at TaxProMarketer for 10 years. Before 2023, I had kind of served for 8 years leading both our sales team, but also our SEO team. So search engine optimization. How do you rank on Google? That's kind of my background. That's where I've, kind of cut my teeth, if you will, in digital marketing for the last decade, is trying to understand how Google works for our industry specifically. What is a CPA, an accountant, a tax professional, a bookkeeper? What do you need to do to rank on page 1 of Google? I've been a CPA practice advisor, 20 under 40. I've been a top presenter on CPA Academy. Tax for Marketers, been an Inc. 5000 business multiple times. I speak on podcasts. I present at events, get to speak on stage. I love to teach. I like to help. We're running a business here. I would love to work with a number of you, of course. But my orientation and why I think our message resonates is I'm not heavy on the sales side of things in terms of like sign up now or else. Like I don't use fear. I don't try and use coercion. I just want you to know what's important related to digital marketing and let kind of the conversations naturally bubble up from there for those that are ready. Here's a picture of my family. So I've got 4 kiddos that are now 6 down to 1. So this is, a few months old. But little guy that I'm holding was probably only a few months old here, but he's now 1. And then I've got a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So we got boy, girl, girl, boy. My house is full, and it's a lot of fun. It's crazy, but we're probably done having kids. But in a future webinar, just check back in and see what's going on with me. You never know. My wife's, probably going to punch me in the face if that ever happens, but you never know. You never know. But right now, that's the family side of things. And as Alad mentioned, we've got my right-hand guy, Noah, with me. Noah, say hello. Talk about what you do, your family, then let's get into the tactics.
Yeah, Christian, it's good to be here. And, thankful we get to chat about this stuff a little bit. I've been with Tax Pro, Christian, we've been doing this for quite a few years together now.
Yeah.
So I run our sales and account management teams. And that's a pretty broad spectrum of touch points that I get to have with our clients, everywhere from having the initial call and saying, can we help? Is this something we could even do? Would it be beneficial for us to help? And then once you do start working with us, let's make sure that this is all working. Okay. Because marketing is not one thing. Marketing is ongoing. It's consistent management. It is making sure that we're tracking with KPIs, ROI, conversion, lead quality, all of these different things. And it's really from start to finish a continuing program. In a previous life, I was in education. I was, a middle school English and history teacher. I was the principal of an international school in Tanzania, right at the base of Mount Kilimanjaro for quite a few years. I love the process. I love the why behind the what. I love helping people achieve their goals, whatever that may look like. Here's my family. We're a little stair-stepped ahead of Christian. We also have 4.
Mm.
My oldest is 12 down to 3. And I'm actually looking at this picture too, Christian, and we need to get some updated pictures. This one was from
You and me.
Thanksgiving last year.
Let's update it.
No, I need to get some updated pictures on here, but it's a
Yeah.
blast. We travel a lot. We homeschool our kids. We are thankful. We love culture. We love, just getting to experience the world. Anyway, it's fun. It's a fun journey to get to be on.
If you ever talk with Noah, you just need to ask him where he is. Right now, he's pretty stationary, but you might get a variety of countries depending on what time of year you bump into him. But we're glad to be here with you. We're gonna jump right in. Sometimes we start with high level, kind of like 30,000 foot view marketing philosophy. Today is not that day. Today is tactics. Today is just jumping right in so that we have the maximum amount of time to give you guys value and help you kind of think through these 5 areas. Now, again, you are not going to be a seasoned, decorated veteran marketer after 1 hour, but you can know better which of the areas you need to focus on, right? That's kind of half the battle, is just knowing what problems and what areas, what opportunities to address. And I think we're starting with the most important one on this list, arguably the most important one, and that's your Google business profile. Your Google business profile is a free profile from Google. It used to be called Google My Business, that you have to claim and set up and optimize. And we'll talk about how to do that today. But once you've done so, this is right now, I would say, the most important property for your business online. It is not exclusively the only property, the only platform, the only profile that matters, far from it, but it is maybe the most important. So when I get on Google and I type in CPA in Dallas or CPA accountant in New York City or tax preparer in Los Angeles, I'm going to see a few things on that page. I'm going to see typically ads at the top, right? And nowadays I'll actually see now and we'll show you a screen of this in a little bit. I might see an AI summary from Google. So like ads at the top, AI summary of like, hey, here's who we think is the best. But after that, I see a map with 3 businesses, right? We've all seen it before. You've seen that map with 3 businesses where you can see their reviews, you can click to get directions, you can call them. That's your Google business page or profile. That's the thing that, in terms of just maybe getting some traction as you head to 2026, I would really encourage you to address. Now, this profile first has to be verified. So Noah, if you can pop in the chat for me, business.google.com. If you right now don't have a profile, business.google.com is where you go to get one claimed. I said this is going to be tactical. We're not starting in the clouds, and this is very tactical. This is like, hey, how do I actually get the profile? That's the link, business.google.com. The verification process today is kind of terrible. It is commonly a video verification process. Could you put a 1 in the chat? Let's just get some participation. Don't drift over to Facebook. Stay out of your email inbox. Tell me if you've ever done a video verification for your Google business page, whether it's been successful or not, or if you're like, oh, I've never done that. Put something in the chat. Say, yes, I've got a profile, or no, I don't, if you've already got this page. But I will just tell you, it is worth its weight in gold, the effort and hours that you dedicate to get this profile live. And it's not easy. I actually just had a friend who is not in the tax and accounting space, but he's starting up a business. He just got through his 3rd round of video verification, and all 3 of them did not go through. Now, I'm kind of just advising him on the side. He's not a client of ours, but I was just kind of giving him some pointers. And even with doing all the things that Google is asking you to do, commonly it takes 2 times to get it verified. And sometimes you get through all 3 of your chances to do verification and you still strike out. There's ways through that, through appealing, but you kind of have to know what to do. Let me just encourage you. One of the things that I think, if you get to know me, you would find is that I'm pretty persistent and stubborn. You have to be with Google Business Profile. Like, that's why I think I've enjoyed this area of digital marketing just as like a discipline, getting clients to rank on Google. You have to be pretty stubborn and persistent to work through the, various details. And a lot of it's just vague and opaque from Google. They don't tell you everything that they're looking for. Now, I've got a guide, I've got a plan for all of our clients of like, hey, third-party analysis, like what is Google really looking for? How long should the video be? What do I need to have in the video? I've got a guide, but that's not from Google themselves. That's something we've created along with other marketing groups that we follow that they've created. So you can kind of glean a lot of what they're looking for, but man, they don't tell you straight up. It used to be a postcard. It used to be like a physical postcard that would get mailed to you that nowadays is just gone. So verification is step one. I gave you the link to go to that site, but once you go to that site, if you're starting a new page or if you've got a page that's just not verified, you have to go through verification before your profile will show up. Once you've done that, let's keep moving. Let's pretend you've got it. Everything on the back end of that profile falls under the umbrella of optimization. Optimization can sound, and sometimes is, like a vague word. Sounds smart. Yeah, I need to optimize it, optimize it. What does that mean? Every field, everything, every piece of data that Google lets you fill out to their system is a signal. And that's Google's algorithm in general. It's signals. Google's algorithm is a set of signals and parameters. And so if their business profile asks you for your services, your business categories, those are different. If it asks you for your hours, if it asks you for your phone number, some of this I think is pretty intuitive. But again, I've never, in doing this for 10 years, I've never bumped into a profile that was completely built out the way I would build it, which is to say there's always low-hanging fruit for us when we bring clients on if they have a profile or if we build a new one, building it from the jump the right way. So here's some of those fields I've just mentioned, right? The description of your business, the hours, the categories, etc. Your business needs to have all of this and more in order to make Google happy. Now, Google's algorithm also will involve your website. We'll talk about website here today, but to rank in that map section, so you see on the left-hand side, here's a Google business page for someone that is a bookkeeper. That's the page that shows up in the map. Beneath the ads, and now beneath the AI summary, this is the first place for free you can rank, right? You can rank in this map section for free. You can also pay to rank there. We'll talk about ads at the end of our presentation today, but I want our clients, and if you're thinking about 2026, you want to angle towards having your business, your profile for Google rank on the top 3 for every relevant search term that someone might search. So anytime there's a search for a local-based business, I want you to show up when that user is typing in bookkeeper near me, best tax preparer in Kansas City, best accountant in Long Beach, whatever. And some of that is controlled by the back end of this page. This is probably the most approachable thing for you guys to actually make a move on, leaving today's session. I don't think it's the only thing, but I do think you could actually make some progress here. You also can post content to this page. It's kind of like social media. Google, let me think about this. I'm listening to no, this is accurate. I'm listening to like a 4-part series on Google as a company right now, and each episode is like 4 hours long. And it's the podcast called Acquired. And they're awesome. And they're tech guys that talk about tech companies typically. Google is the most profitable company in the history of the world. That's not hyperbole. That's just the facts in terms of publicly traded companies we can see the data for. They're the most profitable. They don't have a social media element to their company. They own YouTube, so that's a thing. Like YouTube's definitely got a social media component, but the Google business page is kind of the only place other than YouTube where you can kind of post content as a business in Google's ecosystem, which is strange. They don't own Facebook. They don't own Instagram. They don't own whatever, right? And so Google's not a social media company, but this profile has a social media element. And is this another factor that if you post regularly to Google, will it help you rank higher? Yes. Will any of these posts, that you put up change your business overnight? No. It's about consistency. Consistency in algorithmically checking the boxes that Google wants is the name of the game. And another massive factor is reviews. You have to get reviews to this page. More than your Yelp page, more than your Facebook page, more than just testimonials you put on your website. You need people to post real, genuine feedback hopefully more than just a 5-star rating, but including really strong comments. Because when you rank in the top 3, so we're looking at the top 3 now for a search, and I'm showing you these 3 businesses. These 3 businesses they're outside Boston, in Worcester, Massachusetts. They're all in the top 3. So that's a great start. But which one are you going to choose if you're a consumer? Well, you're going to choose the one with 342 reviews, by and large, compared to the second profile that has 1 review, or the third that has 3. So reviews is algorithmically significant, but also is very significant for your consumer behavior, your customer behavior. People that are actually going to pick one of the options are very, very influenced by the reviews they see. That's how you engage with even what restaurant you're going to go to this evening, what plumber you might use if you have some problems at your house, or an electrician. And that definitely is true of the accounting, tax, and bookkeeping space. Reviews is not, again, the silver bullet that by itself fixes everything, but man, this helps a lot. Reviews helps a lot with ranking and with getting people to choose you. Excuse me. And so moving into 2026, you have to have a system in place that makes it easy for clients to leave you reviews. End of the year, tax season, busy season, whatever season you find yourself in, when you're engaging with clients, in a more frequent, more, you're more getting documents and getting deliverables, getting production done for your clients. That's the time to follow up and say, hey, love having you as a client. Could you please leave me a review, and then follow up? Noah, let me let you come on, because I know you harp on reviews a lot as an account manager, and also in the sales process for clients that come on to us. What would you say about reviews? And then we'll go to the second tactic.
So here's my favorite analogy. You show up to a birthday party and you're going to bring a cake. You have to have a cake. Nobody's going to, like, of course, it's just part of showing up. And you can make the most delicious, like, cake in the world. But if you show up and you don't have frosting on that cake, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to want to eat it. Nobody's going to be interested in it. And it's not because the cake itself isn't built correctly. I'm sure the cake is delicious and you use the right amount of eggs and the right amount of flour and blah, blah, blah. And it was your great grandmother's recipe and it was the greatest thing ever. But literally nobody's going to care if you don't put frosting on it and you don't decorate it. Now, conversely, you're also not going to show up to a birthday party with a big old bowl of frosting. Although my 3-year-old daughter may love that, but she would probably actually go bonkers if
sounds
actually. But like, you're not going to throw up with like a bowl of frosting to a party. Okay, this is marketing in its essence. You have to build the cake right. You have to do the other things we're going to talk about: the website, the SEO, the GEO. You have to. Oh, I'm having connection issues. Uh oh.
I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, you have to have all this stuff. Okay, but the reviews are the icing on the cake. The reviews are what makes it look really good. Now, it's also going to make it taste delicious. It's going to make that cake taste even better. So reviews make you rank so much higher in Google, but don't go out and only get reviews. That's only part of the equation. That's not all of it. But you have to have a system for this. You have to be getting consistent reviews. You have to be getting quality reviews. What's your plan? How are you going to ask? Are you going to do an automation? Are you going to have a QR code? Are you going to incentivize your staff? What's going to be your process for doing this? And if you don't have a process, you should probably think about getting one, because unfortunately, people probably aren't going to benevolently leave you 5-star reviews. They may love your services. Right. They may love what you do, but if you do not ask, you will not receive. For as important, I mean, think about how many times you've gone to a coffee shop or a restaurant or whatever, and you leave and you're like, man, that was the best food I've ever had in my life. But you probably don't leave them a review. And that's not because you didn't love that restaurant. You probably just didn't think about it. You probably weren't asked. Okay. When you ask, and when you have a system for asking, it creates really good things, and it makes really good things happen to your online SEO. Grab a call, talk to tpm.com. We can go over data about how this affects your ranking and the way we see this work for our clients. We don't have time to get into it right now, but you have to request them, send thank yous, make a call, build out a system to make sure that you're getting these in consistently.
Well said. Well said. I would really encourage you, if you do grab a call with us, I want to talk specifically with you, and I know Noah does as well, about reviews. Because again, approaching 2026, this is like, again, it's the first tactic for a reason. You got to have the profile first, you got to get it verified. Some of you have suspended profiles or non-existent profiles, and it's not easy to build them. But once you get it built, optimization and reviews. Now let's talk about your website. You need to have a website that has a job or jobs. I think 2 jobs in particular. I think your website has to do 2 things to be considered like valuable and like worth the time and investment to build. That website needs to help you get found by people that don't know you, not just your clients who are looking for your portal to submit documents. There is a part of your website that should serve kind of practice management, workflows, document collection, scheduling calls. But that to me is like the easy stuff. I know that onboarding and collecting forms is not itself easy, but just like your website strategy doesn't really include onboarding. You just need a link to your onboarding process. Now, again, onboarding is its own beast, something worth considering, but that's once you've got a client. So in terms of marketing initiatives for your website, it needs to get found by people that don't know who you are. They're searching for best bookkeeper, best accountant, best tax preparer. They're searching for terms to figure out on Google who Google thinks is the best option. I want you to rank. The second thing I want your website to do is to start a conversation. So to have a website that converts implies that it shows up, people visit it, and then they do something. And I will just tell you that by and large in our industry, that's neither of those things is typically the case. At best, someone's got one side of that coin, but never both. And most of the time it's neither. So some people have a website that has some traffic. Usually, if a website has some traffic, if any at all, it's only because they have some good reviews. So people will click their website from their Google business page, and you do get some traffic from that. That's great. But then they don't have conversion. Some people really think about conversion and are like, I have this great sales calendar with this onboarding intake sequence, and I'm going to pre-qualify my leads and send them like a free resource. We're going to start on the right foot, and no one finds the site to engage. You have to have both for your website to, in my opinion, kind of be worth its weight, to be like doing what it's supposed to do. So here's an example of what I think your website should have when people visit it. We'll talk about the back end for like getting a rank, but just to start, I think a lot of people have like a free discovery call nowadays. That's the most common thing that the website, kind of conversion mechanism is built around. Like, click to get a call, 30-minute session. When you start to get traffic to your site, when you solve that problem, what you don't want is your calendar filled up with a bunch of unqualified leads. You don't want that. You think you want that when you don't have leads, but once you start getting leads and you start getting bad leads, you quickly realize like, oh my God, I need to screen these people. So here's the best practice. When I get to the homepage of a site, I need a clear headline that speaks to the audience I'm wanting to speak to, which is your target prospect. And then I need a clear call to action that starts a conversation. So that little survey, I don't think I have, I'm sure I do, but I just don't know how to get them in this software. I don't have like a little pointer or highlighter tool, but you see this, tell me more about income tax strategy, business strategy, or both. Those survey questions for us change depending on the client. If you're doing tax planning or bookkeeping or tax preparation, the questions change, but the idea and the principles remain the same. That before someone gets on your calendar, we want to pre-qualify them. This survey, this questionnaire, isn't like an intake form. It's not them like becoming a client. It's just some basics. What are you looking for? Are you in the right place? Am I the right person for you? So like just a couple of questions, not a ton. It's not like a quiz. It's not like in depth, but you can build logic into this survey, or at least you can with our system, to say, if they don't answer in the way that I want, if their business isn't big enough in terms of revenue or employee size or services they're looking for, then maybe I just send them a thank you email and not my calendar, right? So once you get traffic, you want to grab people by the hand and be relational, but you also want to protect your time. And a well-built, well-thought-through conversion mechanism and content gets you there. So here's 3 big things, some of which I've already hit on. I've kind of hit on point number 3, optimize for engagement, but a couple other things to consider. Not all websites, just by virtue of having one, are equal. Performance is not looks in websites. Let me say that differently. Your photos, the aesthetic, the design, being a good website designer is different than building a site that's powerful. You can build a powerful website that looks terrible. You can also have both. You can have a good looking website that also ranks well and converts well. You can have both. But I would take an ugly site that gets traffic versus one that looks great and does not. And so the power of a website is really kind of 2 places. It's the back end of the site and it's your content. So the back end of a site, we build all of our sites on WordPress, not because it's the only place to build a website, but because out of the gate, a WordPress site is like an iPhone. iPhones are powerful on their own, but you can add apps to an iPhone to make them more functional and more effective and more fun, right? So WordPress has plugins, and these plugins come from a third-party kind of like open source developer library or app store, if you will. And on WordPress, you just have more flexibility to build your site in those kind of ways. Whereas if you built your site on Squarespace or Wix or with, let's let them remain unnamed, because I don't want to pick on our competitors. That's not what I'm here to do. But if your site is really cheap and was flipped on in a day and is a templatized thing that thousands of other people have, that doesn't make Google happy, because the back end of that website's really not much of anything. Websites are commonly viewed as a commodity nowadays. It's just something you need to have, lowest price, flip it on, and I'm done. No. Your website needs to be built intentionally and needs content that makes Google happy. So that's the other side of ranking on Google, is actually your content. The content on your website matters a lot. And if you're using the same website content as 1,000 other people with your existing website group or agency or whomever it is, that's a problem. I've already talked about optimizing for engagement, but let's talk about content a little more. The idea around content is EAT, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. This is an acronym to understand how to write content. So duplicated boilerplate content doesn't make Google happy because it's not communicating expertise, authority, or trust. Google is evaluating the entire internet and every website against these parameters, just at a high level. Obviously, it's a lot more complicated. If you actually looked at the code or Google's algorithm, it's a dynamically built multi-billion-dollar asset, right? But the big idea is Google is trying to figure out who the heck knows what they're talking about related to taxes and bookkeeping and accounting. And they can figure that out based on what your content has or doesn't have. And not only that, but how many of you are thinking about AI? Well, there's a few places that AI kind of finds itself being relevant related to your website. So even more than your Google business page, but your Google business page and your reviews relate to how you show up in ChatGPT or AI summaries as well. But your content is very important for whether or not you're going to show up in a Google AI summary or in a ChatGPT thread. So here's a Google AI summary. You can see down below the sponsored results. Those are the ads. And then beneath that would be the map with 3 businesses, right? So the Google business page we've talked about. But here's this new thing that shows up as of kind of this year, in 2025. Who's the best CPA in Kansas City? There is no single best CPA in Kansas City as the ideal choice, depends on your specific needs, but Marks Nelson CPA and CBiz MHM are frequently mentioned as top business firms, while All-American Tax and so on and so forth, right? Getting ranked there is not a given. It's based on the content of your site. And are more people stopping at this AI summary and actually not looking at the website links below or the Google links below? They're looking for the shortcut. That's what AI is all about. Give me the shortcut, ChatGPT. Give me the shortcut AI summary. And the answer is, some clicks are not actually flowing through to the site because people just see who the summary says is the best option right here. Same with ChatGPT. Who's the best accountant in Kansas City turned up this result. One highly regarded option is Reuben Brown LLP. Here's a breakdown of why they stand out. And everything below is stuff from their website and awards they've won and their location. It's all stuff pulled from their site. So them talking about their own accolades or some other rating service. Your website is very important in the age of AI. Okay, so your website and your Google page both matter to AI, but specifically your content. So I went a little long on this. We've got to keep moving. If you want to talk more about either your website or AI or how to rank on Google in general, and just to be clear, let me go back here. Point number 3 here is really important. A great group called SEMrush is predicting that AI could overtake traditional search, but that's by 2028. By and large, Google search is still dominant. But I do think if you're trying to build 2026 marketing plan, knowing that in the next 3 years, we could see AI search start to take over, I think you need to address it. I think you have to address it. Okay, relational emails. Let's get there. And Noah, I'll pull you in here too. But here's some basics about email marketing. And I'm gonna go to the clouds for a second. I know I said I'd be completely tactical, but here I gave a presentation on this recently. Email kind of just as a specific service and a specific idea and tactic. There's a few things still rattling in my brain from that presentation. And one is that most accountants and tax professionals don't fully appreciate the space in their clients' brains that they occupy. You are an expert to them, and you are an expert, but I need a better word. You are a safe harbor. You are the one who distills and deals with what is to them a terrifying and scary thing: taxes, accounting, bookkeeping. Hardly anyone gets into business or thinks about their taxes with joy. It's just not the case. It's dread, it's fear, it's anxiety. I don't want to get audited. Am I doing things right? And there's obviously plenty of people that don't really think that much about it and then get slapped or hear a story and get scared. And so what does email marketing accomplish? Email marketing, if done right, helps you position yourself as an authority, not just a producer. If all you do is collect documents from your clients once or twice a year or quarterly and do a little check-in or send the stuff when it's done, if that's all you do, then I do think there should be some fear in the coming years about AI's ability to replace you. But if you are moving towards being a quote unquote advisor, which to me, whatever advisory as a service might mean to you, tax planning, CFO services, higher level accounting, whatever, I kind of don't care about that. I kind of care about the advisory part being the relational side of advisory. You are advising them. You are giving them good ideas. You are giving them updates. You are helping them know. I would say that if you do email marketing well, it builds more trust than anything else you'll do with your existing clients. It prevents them from quitting your services and going elsewhere. It keeps them engaged, and you are not selling your services every week. You are giving them updates. You're writing authoritative strategy notes. This is what we do for our clients. And we write relationally with a one-to-one voice. We add real value with timely information, and we're consistent. The data suggests that you could actually send emails more than this, but we write new emails for our clients to send weekly. They can edit and tweak those emails. We do not send them without their approval, but this is the secret weapon. So I might have said that Google Business Profile on your website are like, hey, the first 2 taxes kind of can't miss things. And that's true. But email marketing is commonly the thing that people are most surprised by in terms of results. When you do this well, you can price raise and have less fear that people will vanish because they will, in their mind, love and enjoy legitimately. We've heard this from clients that have done price raising. They will love and enjoy your weekly emails so much that it gives you more leverage to, again, raise your rates, which we all want to do, but we're all afraid of doing because what happens if I push too hard and there's a cheaper shop down the street? Well, if you're moving to be an advisor and trying to hit on other things than just getting their W-2 done and turned in and filed, if you're doing more than that and connecting with them more, they want you to occupy that space. They want you to be the expert, and it just takes time to do this. So I think you guys could write weekly emails, but just know it takes obviously a lot of intentionality to write the content, and of course, the delivery system to make sure that you don't hit everyone's spam inbox or whatever. Like, this is an art and a science, right? It's both. And this is something we do for our clients that they find is really appreciative or they really appreciate. Here's an example of our emails. If you want this or the slides, this is an older email, but this is just an idea of kind of how we write and why in this, I think email we're talking about tax planning, if I'm not mistaken. It's long form content. And the open rates, guys, some of our recent emails have averaged over 50% open rate for clients and prospects. So we're sending it to both for our clients, their customers and their prospects. Over a 50% open rate. Commonly people have 500 to 1,000 people on their list, sometimes less, sometimes more. But this isn't just like 10 people and 5 of them open. No, this is hundreds and thousands of people across hundreds of clients. And we've done this for 15 years. Email, when done well, gets high open rates, builds rapport, builds trust, and is the one platform that I think most people are surprised by. Oh, look, we've got some open rates. Look at that. This was sent on October 7th. This was sent on October 6th on the left and right. Open rate, 70% for one of our clients. Here's another one on the right. That's 56%. That's awesome. That's showing, both desire to consume the content and understand kind of what's going on, and also like a high level of trust. Those level of open rates, which we consistently get, are not easy to get. That's not a given. Okay, here's some testimonials. Let's keep moving. Noah, before I go to building a follow-up system, what would you add about email marketing?
It's the bottom part of nurture. Email marketing doesn't actually have anything intrinsically to do with Google rankings. So I think that's why it gets neglected a lot of times, is because on everyone's forefront of their mind is, well, I just need leads. But the flaw in that mode of thinking is it's not holistic of looking at the entire ecosystem. Again, we talked earlier, your website, your SEO, GEO, generative engine optimization, that's AI. That's all about ranking. That's all about when someone searches tax professional, bookkeeper, accountant, CPA, advisor, tax resolution, whatever, that like you want to rank number one. You want to have the best Google reviews. When they go to your website, you need to be able to convert those leads. But the other question is what happens once they convert? You have to have a follow-up system. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about next. But your email marketing should be part of that. When a prospect goes to a website we build, they fill out that form and they get added into that nurture email cycle. They get followed up with. It's an overused adage, but it's true. The fortune really is in the follow-up. If you're not following up with leads, you're not going to close them. If you're not showing up, if you're not giving them value. We talk all the time, but we see clients all the time of saying, hey, this lead came through. They didn't close right now, but because they got my emails, they came back 4 months later and they called me just because I stayed in front of them, because I showed up.
Yep.
That's the power of email marketing. The power of email marketing is with the 1,000 clients you have right now. I would guess you have an attrition rate year over year. If you're not tracking that attrition rate, I would strongly encourage you to do that. We've worked with clients before that have had 10, 15+% higher attrition rates year over year. You are bleeding clients. You are bleeding revenue if you do that. Just start talking to your clients. Start showing up in front of them. Start giving them value. I'm not saying you're not valuable. You are, but there's what we call perceived indifference. When your clients don't hear from you, there's a level of perceived indifference. They don't feel like you care. They don't know you're there for them. But when you do show up in front of them, they know who to trust. They know who to go to when they have a problem. They know who to tell their friends who have a tax or accounting or business tax or whatever problem. Their friend gets a letter from the IRS. Oh my gosh, you need to go talk to my CPA. They're the absolute best. But that's because you've built that relationship with them. Do not neglect email marketing. I know it's easy to think, oh, that doesn't matter. And the amount of people that we've brought on that have been like, I don't want email marketing. I'm not going to send that. My clients are going to get annoyed if I email them every single week. And then we get on an account management call 2-3 months down the road, and they're like, I get happy. My clients are emailing me saying how much they love the emails that I'm sending out. That is the norm. That is the norm with this. Is people, you may be hesitant at the beginning, and I get it, but we're not sending out spammy stuff. It's relational content. It's value add. It's to deepen and strengthen that bond. But again, and kind of into tactic number 4, you have to have a follow-up system. You have to have a follow-up system with prospects that come in. What are you doing with your leads? Christian said it before. Oftentimes, marketing doesn't solve your problems. Marketing can actually reveal your problems. They can reveal what they are. And if you don't have good systems to gather data, to gather information, to pre-qualify, well, if you have someone go to your website and they just click schedule and they go straight to your calendar, well, how do you know that this person
Mhm.
is a 1040 only client, but you're looking for business advisory? Or you're looking for bookkeeping or accounting or CPA, like fill in the blank. But you want to get, the goal is not just to get a full calendar. The goal is to get the right kind of leads on your calendar. The goal is to not to just show
Mhm.
up in Google search. The goal is to show up in the right searches. If you're not doing 1040 tax, well, I don't want to get you to show up and rank in a search for individual tax. Or I
Right.
mean, gosh, help us. Cheap taxes, free taxes near
Yeah.
me, cheapest tax professional in Kansas City. You don't want to show up in front of that search. That would be really bad. That is not going to be. Now, if you do want that stuff, okay, that's fine. If you're looking for, that's great. Most
Sure.
people we work with are not looking for those. They can go to some of the other franchises, and that's great. I have no issue with those. They people, everybody needs their taxes done. But what are you doing to capture someone? What are you doing with these surveys?
Mhm.
What are you doing when they come in? Are they going somewhere? Do you have a purpose? Do you have a plan for them? What are you doing with this pre-qualifying information? You have to
Mm.
have a plan with this. Christian, let me kick it back to you. What are your thoughts on follow-up?
Yeah, I think again, like you're saying, the fortune's in the follow up. Sales is about following up. If you just get leads and you let them sit, and if they don't close on the first call, and that's your kind of hope and a prayer strategy, you're just going to leave a lot of money on the table. There are people that need your help that just procrastinate and they struggle. So your follow up plan can also include, like, do you have a sales pipeline that can easily and quickly show you where your leads are at and what stage of the process they're in, where they came from? Did they fill out a survey when they first got into your ecosystem? I think follow up tactics is both for you with the client and you with yourself. And it starts like here on this slide from how do you capture their information? As I've told you already, we use a survey on our websites to start a conversation, but this is just, there's other ways you to do it. I think this is the best practice right now. This is what I recommend. But you could give away a free resource. You could do something else. That's great. But once you get that in place, and you get them on a strategy session or a call, or you send them an email, whatever it is, you've got to have some automated follow up. So, email marketing that I just talked about was weekly, ongoing, freshly written content. You also should have a set sequence that for all of your leads that fill out the survey on your site or fill out the questionnaire on your site, or even if they just go right to your calendar, you must have reminders of the appointment, introduce yourself, talk about your firm, tell stories, case studies, testimonials. Your follow up tactics for real leads is you're further down the marketing funnel, right? So they found you, they clicked, they've engaged. Yes, you're going to write weekly valuable content, relationally oriented content, but this is a lead that's expressed intent that wants to talk with you and maybe close. You need to write a set automated email campaign once you collect their information that, again, introduces you. What are you going to cover on the call? How do you help people? What's your mission? What's your vision? What are the stories that matter? You want to build trust and rapport before they get to that meeting. And then when they leave that meeting, you got to get your anchor proposal out and get your follow-ups from the meeting. So following up before the meeting and after. So they've scheduled, I've got my my like indoctrination sequence. I've got my sequence of automated emails and texts that are going to go out. And then after the meeting, I've got another set of follow-up. I'd say that in 2026, if you guys did that, it's something you usually only have to build once. Yes, you can tweak it over time, but this is an automated set, push a button and send campaign. Once you collect their info from the survey and then you put them through this, you guys are going to close a lot better. Instead of having to introduce yourself for the first 20 minutes on every discovery call and be like, here's who I am, here's what I do, whatever. Like, let your email lead up, warm up sequence kind of handle that for you. Go after engagement, be conversational. This is your intake sequence to the call and after the call, your sales sequence, if you will. Let's keep moving. We've got about 9 or 10 minutes left. Again, let me just pause for a half second before we talk about tactic 5. I would love to chat with you. And the way to do that is talktotpm.com. Noah, can you pop that back in the chat? Again, I'm not telling you pricing. I'm not telling you about some flashy deal. That's not what I'm trying to do. But like, if this is at all kind of perking your interest, I want to hear about what your firm is doing right now. Well, not well. Where do you need help? Noah and I want to serve you, even if it means you're not a client. It's a free call. It's something that we'll just, again, if you go to that site, we'll put a survey in front of you and just figure out some basics on your business and help you craft a marketing plan that in 2026 can absolutely take you to the next level. And advertising is a part of that. So ranking on Google for free is what we talked about to begin with. You can rank on Google for free because you've got a verified, awesome Google business page with a lot of reviews and you're posting content and you've optimized it. You've got a great website with great content. You're showing up in lots of searches and you're starting conversations and you're following up with those leads as you get onto the sales call. You're doing all that. But generally speaking, how you rank on Google is mostly local. Google sees you guys as a local-based business. If I'm in New York City doing a search for an accountant, I'm going to see a New York accountant. Unless someone is advertising, you can expand your geographic reach with ads. That's one of the advantages. And you also can get more targeted and only pay to show up on the searches you want to. So let's just run like a thought experiment. If all you want is, bookkeeping leads, you can run a really targeted campaign targeting people searching for bookkeeping as a service in any market around the world. I just had a conversation yesterday with a gentleman who I think he'll sign up, but his focus is expat tax work around the globe. So that's his corporate tax experience. He worked in the expat division for some large group, started out on his own now for the last couple of years. And he's like, I want more expat, tax clients from London and Paris and whatever. And that's where ads comes in, right? Because he himself is in Georgia. He is not in London. But I can run an ad campaign to go to those markets and get an expat tax ad campaign going for people that search for that type of term. So with Google Ads in particular, that's what we recommend because on Google, there's a high level of intent. When someone finds an ad on Google, if it's done right, it's because they have intent to find that thing. Whereas on Facebook, we would not call Facebook an intent-based advertising platform. It's more of an interruption. No one gets on Facebook to find a tax preparer. It doesn't mean that Facebook ads don't work. It just means it's a slower cycle because the intent when someone got on Facebook might not have been to find you. Facebook's got a lot of fun levers and tools you can pull on as well, as does YouTube and LinkedIn. Bing is a viable place to advertise. Some people advertise on TikTok. You can advertise on a lot of places and get success. Google and Google pay-per-click ads in particular, a little bit less so the display ads if you're familiar with what those are. And I think local service ads on Google are also viable, but there's some nuance there. So there's a lot of ways to advertise on Google. Traditional pay-per-click search ads is what we run with, what we recommend. You're going to want to spend about $1,000 a month as your ad spend with a well-developed campaign can absolutely produce results. We have clients that spend a lot more than that. We have some clients that spend a little bit less than that, but generally that's about a range you're going to want to spend to perform well. Now, here's some data on our different campaign types. So accounting and bookkeeping, tax preparation, tax resolution. This is over 2 years. So the average cost per lead, not per click, but per lead. So how many of you would be glad to spend $100 to get a tax prep lead or $50 to get an accounting and bookkeeping lead, right? You can see the average budget, excluding management fees, $800, $1,000, $700, again, near that 1,000 range. We're starting to kind of push that number up. The more ads find their way into the system in our industries, the more people that are advertising on Google, the higher the cost per click, higher the average cost per lead. But those conversion rates, guys, that's like against views to clicks. So a 12% conversion rate of people that have clicked to then moving into being a lead and giving you their info. Again, that's where ads becomes really powerful. You got to be ready to close people. This is the fastest way to get new leads. And moving into 2026 or even before, if you're saying I need leads now, then Noah and I are going to recommend ads now. Over time, ads is not something you have to be married to. You can stop your ads, and many of our clients do not run ads because they rank so highly in their local market on Google for free that they get tons of leads and they just don't need to pay for them. That's fine. Like, that's a good outcome if that's what happens. But ranking for free on Google to be the top option on page one does take time. And so ads at a minimum is like a stopgap for those that are kind of waiting until their organic or free ranking gets established. But it also is something you can keep going, and some of our clients do because it helps you break into other markets. I'm down in Houston and I want to advertise in Los Angeles. Well, unless you open an office in Los Angeles, advertising is the most cost efficient, cost effective, most expedient way to show up in Los Angeles. Okay, so here's the different things you need to do on a pay-per-click campaign that I don't have time to run you through, but these are the tactics of a well-built campaign. These are the areas: your ad group, your keyword selection, your landing page, your call to action. And I've got more content here that I'm just going to kind of breeze through. I think I just hit the most important part of ads, just helping you understand what place they have in a marketing strategy. And if you want to go deeper on the keyword selection and your landing page and your call to action, etc., or to even look at the real ad results, let me just invite you to grab a call with us. I want to go over data. I want to show you what's happened. I want to explain to you how we'll do it. I'm happy to do that with ads, with your website, with your emails, with your follow-up system, with giving you a sales pipeline. I can give you that, all that we've talked about today and more, but I want to honor and respect your time, and we only have a few minutes left. So with the time we have remaining, let me just start the end here and land the plane by inviting you again. If this is at all interesting, you've got time to put a plan in place. That's the one commodity or resource. That's the one resource that you can't get back. You can't get time back. And I need time to be effective. There's never, ever a time in the year where I'm not telling a lead, give me more time and it'll work better. That can be at the end of the year, the beginning of the year, the middle of the year. Time is always a very valuable resource to a marketer who knows what they're doing. I need time. So I want to help you. You may not become a client of ours, but I still want to help. And if you are going to be a client of ours, if you're curious about that, the step you need to take now is to grab a call with us and just start the conversation. I want to hear about your firm, your website, what you've tried, how it didn't work, how it did work, where you want to move and shift and grow. I want to hear your skepticism about marketing. I want to hear the money you've sunk into it in the past that didn't work and made you a little bit jaded. I get it. Or you're fearful because you've never done it and it's like, oh my God, this is scary. I want to help you guys be equipped. We care about the Anchor community. I care about in our industry teaching and training. I'm not a heavy-handed sales guy. We just want to serve. So for some of you, you do need our help. And I just need you to grab a call with us out of this meeting. But we've got about a minute left. If you are okay with it, we'll certainly hang around a few minutes after this end of our session. But let's go to the questions and just see what came up.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you very much. As someone who on the marketing side, it's always interesting to see how the industry evolves, especially in digital marketing. So yes, if anyone has a question, feel free to write it up in the chat, and we'll share that with everyone. Other than that, I will leave the last slide available for others in case you'll want to contact directly the amazing people of TaxPro. Um, and that's about it. I think we'll give it like a couple more seconds to see if there's any questions. I'm sure that it's it's a lot of things to
It is a
digest.
lot.
So it mostly like completely understandable if there's not a lot of questions right now. So
Mhm.
thank you again, Christian. Thank you again, Noah. And like I said, this will be shared over YouTube, so you can revisit and you can also share that with your colleagues. And if there's no questions, we'll let you go to the rest of your day. Thank you very
Perfect.
much. Have a great one,
Alad,
everyone.
thank you. Thank you, everyone. We look forward to talking with you soon, and good luck getting into 2026. We hope it's the best year ever for you guys.
I completely agree. Have a great
See
one.
ya.